I have an Emily Kinshi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Please
Wonderful.
state your name and where you live, and you have 2 minutes.
Great. My name is Emily Kinshi. I live in Ward 1. Thank you, council members, for this time. And I'd like to first express deep gratitude for our city tonight for taking their time to share their experiences so that no person on this council can leave this conversation having any doubts about the level of suffering and trauma they would be inflicting on our community by supporting the current police budget. My name is Emily Kinchi. I'm a licensed clinical social worker that provides trauma-informed, social justice-informed therapy in Providence. I've spent my career as a social worker serving at agencies supporting victims of trauma, including a rape crisis center serving survivors of the exact crimes that are often used as strawman arguments against defunding the police. I'm also a Providence resident in Ward 1. I stand in solidarity with calls to defund in pursuit of abolishing the Providence Police Department. I am a survivor of sexual harassment at the hands of a teacher when I was 15, where my school did not protect me, nor did the school resource officer, school social worker, or any person in power. I'm also a specialist in the field of trauma treatment, particularly in understanding how the brain and nervous system are impacted by adverse experiences. What I've learned in my personal experience in navigating my own trauma and eventually supporting others in that same journey is that we cannot heal through a system that was created to throw our experiences under the rug. I'm a white woman and I don't feel our systems have protected me, and I'm afforded quite a lot of privilege because of my whiteness. In 1998, a landmark study was done that determined the impact of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and the impact they have on the development of children and predictors for health outcomes in the future. The outcomes were grim and continue to inform how trauma therapists understand clients' physical health and mental health. According to the CDC, up to 1.9 million cases of heart disease and 21 million cases of depression could have been potentially avoided by preventing ACEs. ACEs notably include things like experiencing physical abuse, sexual abuse, or neglect, as well as experiencing a sudden death of another. But ACEs also include experiencing the incarceration of a parent, experiencing discrimination like racism, sexism, homophobia, ableism, transphobia, fat phobia. When we allow police to remain in our communities, we're saying that we're okay with using our tax dollars to increase the amount of people in our community that will likely go on to develop preventable chronic health conditions or mental health conditions such as depression, PTSD, or suicidality. These experiences lead to toxic stress in the body that impact our brain development. This can go on to impact things like attention, decision-making, learning, and emotion regulation. When we experience a state of chronic stress, like in communities that are heavily policed, our brain and nervous system have to create an internal condition that preps us for fight, flight, or flee. This changes our physiology, which leads to, for example, having our muscles tense up, increased heart rate, difficulty taking a deep breath. When we have to sit in that nervous system state for too long, it can lead to the preventable health conditions I mentioned above. By investing in policing, we're actively increasing the amount of ACEs that our community members experience, which then increases their risk of an early death. Non-white folks and women are at greater risk for having experienced 4 or more types of ACEs. Research shows that an ACE score of 6 or above can shorten a person's lifespan by up to 20 years. We can prevent our community members from having to experience the pain of chronic disease or the stigma of mental illness by chipping away at the institutions that claim to treat the outcome of ACEs, but actually serve to keep them embedded in our society. These institutions, including the police, correctional facilities, and many more, are enacting psychological warfare every day on people in our communities with grave outcomes. We must sit with this fact and commit to doing better. If this is the only thing that will convince you, the CDC also states that the economic and social costs to families, communities, and society as a whole in treating the outcome of high ACEs totals hundreds of billions of dollars each year. Defund the police so that we can finally get rid of one of the biggest perpetrators of ACE scores in our community, and to avoid the millions of dollars a year Rhode Island likely pays to deal with the aftermath of all of those experiences. Thank you.